Hello, I'm not sure I'm live. I'm going to ask Sarah, and I look really dark down here. That's really strange. Hold on. I'll ask Sarah. Am I live? We tried to do a conversation and it didn't work. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see what she says. Give us a technical minute. Okay, I'm live. Okay, great. I don't know why this is showing up so darn dark. I've even fixed, maybe that's better. Okay, that's not bad. Hello, everybody. I can't see who's here. Sarah just texted me on my phone, and I'll get any questions or comments that you want to ask me. Hi everybody, my name is ChaCha, and I am really excited to share this with you today. I wanted to say to Sarah this morning that I can't believe all these years later we are doing this. I mean, I never would have imagined this. Things have obviously developed in life. Aren't we just moving through incredible change? So what I want to talk to you today about is, I call it curating possibilities, the poetics of space. And what I mean by that, I'm a designer, I'm a sculptor, I design furniture as well, and all that sounds all very wonderful, and it sounds maybe to some people a little bit too much out there, like not everybody can maybe afford to have really beautiful furniture, but we can all, well, I'm not even going to use the word afford, we all, I feel it's so necessary to have our homes in a way that really, really supports us. So I've been doing this work for a long time, but last spring, about a year ago, I started getting these downloads that were really talking about how important it is to bring nature into our homes. I'm not talking about bringing plants in, I'm talking about bringing that essence, that stillness into our homes so that we can live our best lives. Oh, I maybe have to put my headset on. Is that too loud there? There's a highway here and sometimes it gets a little noisy. You can let me know if I will. I'll put my headset on. Anyway, so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the importance of that because, you know, I think interior design is something that is not just for the very wealthy, people that can have exquisite furniture. Everything that we can have in our homes to really support a life well lived. I'm actually a wabi-sabi designer, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Don't worry if you don't know what that is, and if you do know what it is, it can be a little bit of a bit noisy. She said yes. Okay, I'll put this on. The sounds of the world are welcome. Okay. Let me know, and I'll keep an eye on the thread here. Many years ago, I moved back from Spain. I moved to Toronto, and I met this little pistol of a really creative, poetic woman, Maddie, and she told me I was a wabi-sabi designer, and I had no idea what that was. And so I had to understand it, and it is a philosophy, it's a way of living. It is a way of living with nature It is living with imperfection. It is living with life that ages, and we enjoy that aging of our things, like rusting of metal. I happen to love that. But why is it important on our homes? Well, when the world went upside down a few years ago, and we were supposedly supposed to stay in our homes, all we wanted to do, tell me if I'm wrong, we all wanted to just be in nature. We wanted to get outside because it's where we feel the best. And I think that is because, one, nature is the only thing in the world, to me, that's absolutely true. And no matter, I think I better put these on. It's actually affecting me. Hold on a second. I'll put these on. I can't concentrate. I think I got you. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, it's the one thing that's true. But even when you go into nature and there's so much of it, it's all in perfect order, right? Doesn't matter how many blades of grass there are, it's in perfect order. All of nature is like in balance. And I could do a bit, I do meditation sometimes. I don't think I'm going to do one here, but if you do a little meditation, or go for a walk in the woods, let's say, and then come back into your home, how does your home actually feel to you? That'll give you a real clue about it, about how the home is affecting you. Because everybody on this group for sure knows that everything is energy, everything has light, and if we're not sensitive enough to that, then it's affecting us, and we live so much of our day in the home. Then it's very important that we have our homes in, I keep wanting to say in order, but it's actually, there's orderness to it, but that's not really the whole thing. Actually, there's order enough that things are placed in a specific way. Sarah, do you want to ask me a few questions, or I'm going to just kind of bump along here? I want to tell you, I got a download as well many years ago after I met Sarah, to do virtual interior design. And we actually, I said, Sarah, why don't you be my first person? Let's give this a try. And so we did. And along with Wabi Sabi, which actually originated in China, I also like to incorporate Feng Shui when I work in people's homes. And both being of Chinese origin. And I said, let's just start with the abundance corner, because that's such a fun thing to do. Everybody wants more abundance of whatever in their lives. And so we did that, and Sarah was saying she found her before and after pictures of that a week or so ago, which is really interesting. But yeah, it worked really well, and I can see a lot what's going on in the home. And I love going into people's homes and helping them, but there is something very beautiful about assisting people because it empowers people to do it on their own, and they learn. I mean, this is all very teachable, and so people get really excited because they get to do it on their own, and I just kind of lead them and instruct them to do things in a certain way. One of the things that are some of the simple steps, I guess, that I could give you to to bring that stillness into the home is, I call it the stillness in nature. And a lot of people have way too much stuff in their homes. I personally am a minimalist. A lot of people like to live with a lot of things. There's nothing wrong with that, but it needs to be intentional. You need to love everything you have, love it. It has to either give you something, like it has to support a life well lived, and if it doesn't, all of that needs to be cleared. That just boggles the mind a lot. When you come into a home, for example, your eyes and your mind take in every single object. Even if you know your home really, really well, your brain takes all of that in. And so if people have too many things, then we get overwhelmed. Most people, when they're like that, they just shut down and walk out of the room. It's like a computer that you can't, that is overwhelmed. It will just shut down. And I've actually written a course on this, which I'm about to launch, all about this, about how to get past all this, because there's a whole psychological component that goes along with this that I feel people are kind of missing with this. And what should you have in your home that creates that stillness that we're looking for? So that's a really big step in creating that. Of course, if you live with other people, you got to get everybody on board. The last part of that is to maintain it. If we don't learn from what we're doing, then we are going to just continue to repeat the same patterns. And most people live with far too much. The course that I have written is called Do You Own It or Does It Own You? And I mean, it's kind of an obvious one. Do you own it means that it's something that you value, that's something that supports your life, something that keeps giving to you. If it owns you, then you're paying for it over and over and over again with time, your energy, money, whatever it is. And because of the world that is changing so much, so quickly, so rapidly right now, I personally feel that it is really good to be in a real flexible situation, because we don't know if we're going to have to move. And I think that having that ability to be flexible and move when you want to is pretty paramount. I've actually gotten rid of my things several times in my life. It's not for everybody, and I don't recommend it, but I do recommend that people get it to a point where it's manageable. Not just you know, in case you have to move. But I always, when I do interior design with people's homes, I always make sure that they don't have too much, because you know when you go to like a cafe, there's a particular cafe in the town over, and it's this beautiful big open space, and I can think in there, and that's because there's space to do that. And it's not that I don't have it in my home, although I like being outside because I've got lots of space here. But when we've got space, we can create a future. It's easier to create a future, let me say. It's not that it's impossible, but because when there's too many things around us, our mind is too occupied by just thinking, oh yes, those kitchen spoons over there, or those, you know, the books over there, whatever. So it's too taxing on our systems. And so yeah, keeping it simple so that we're flexible to move is really, really huge. And I can tell you, this is a really interesting little thing that happened to me. I'll tell you a little story. I had a wholesale manufacturing company in Toronto, and I had moved it a couple of times, and I had gotten very sick. I was actually vaccine injured many, many years ago. And so I got really sick, and I got well, and then I started getting sick again. So I was like, I'm gonna die, I gotta start living. So I got rid of everything. And I had beautiful things at that time, really beautiful. I mean, I always do. I had a lot of beautiful things. So I called up a friend of mine, Mark, and I said, Mark, I'm gonna do this. I'm selling everything. I'm moving to Spain, and you can have first use on anything. And he came over, and he's got, you know, good taste, and he took all the good stuff. And he was also, I didn't tell you this part, he was also going to do the same thing. He wanted to move to Berlin, and I was going to go to Barcelona. And so he took all these things and he put them in a storage unit, and I got rid of mine. So, long story short, several months after I was in Barcelona, he came to see me. He had to go back to Toronto because he had all this stuff in storage that was just pulling him back. I was free as a bird, and so I continued to live in Spain. And then, okay, now the story turns into a little bit of sadness. Mark actually got sick, and we knew he was not going to live. And I came and spent the last year of his life with him. It was a beautiful honor. We had a lot of fun. And lo and behold, when he died, he left me all his stuff again, which I never, ever, ever imagined that happening to me. I did the same thing in 2021 when I moved down to Mexico, and I went out to Toronto, opened up my storage because I didn't know how long this thing was going to go on, right? I opened it up like, I got to get rid of all this. I also had beautiful things, collecting beautiful things as I go through my life. And I sold them, got rid of them, left them at the side of the curb, as you can do that in Toronto. 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine came down from Toronto, and she said, Cha, all that stuff that I bought from you, she said, I've got it in a storage locker, and I'm just gonna, next time I come down, I'm just gonna bring it all back to you. Oh, isn't that just the best lesson ever? Just never be worried about giving your things away, ever. We are just naturally abundant, and we should never be concerned about that. So I was pretty amazed that that story came twice into my life. Okay. Sarah, have you got any specifics? I've got a couple little things I want to share. Has anybody got any questions? Okay. I just want to beautiful things in storage, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can talk about this stuff for hours, but I kind of feel like I'm talking to myself. Sarah and I were going to try and do we were going to have a conversation here, and it didn't really work out, but anyway. I was on my website, because I'm also a sculptor and I also design furniture, and oh, she's got a question for me. Okay, I'll leave that. What are the simple things people can do to bring nature into their home? Well, it's about bringing calmness into the home. That's one of the first things. So that's why I wrote this program called Do You Own It or Does It Own You? Because the first thing you got to do is you got to edit, and you got to really edit your home. Because if, like I say, when you've got too many distractions, it pulls your psyche sideways, up and down. When you go into nature, it never does that, right? We always feel good when we're in nature because it's in perfect balance. It knows how to do that so well. Our egos are like, oh, I have to have this little trinket, and I've got to have that over there, and that over there, and that over there. But that's the first thing you got to delete the clutter, for sure. My friend Suzanne, who is just here, I'll tell you what she said about my home, and this is exactly what I do when I do design for people, but I'm going to explain it to you because, oops, yeah, she said, you know immediately when you are in a space created by ChaCha. I've actually done her home in Toronto too. I'll tell you about that in a second, how I did that. Well, basically, I'll tell you now, and I'll finish with this. When I did Suzanne's home, she actually had to go away for a couple weeks. So she had a lot of chachkas, a lot. And nothing wrong with chachkas if they have a lot of meaning and they give you something to your life, okay? She had way too many. I took it all out and I put it in the garage. I didn't throw anything away. And then I put back just what I thought she needed, and when she got back, we added what she felt comfortable with, and she got rid of the rest of it. And on my website, it talks about how when she comes into her space, how calm it feels. And everybody that comes in comments of how calm it is. Those little things that you have that I know I'm going on about quite a bit, they are distracting. They're distracting energy because they're all energetic little beings, right? And so you need to clear, and you need to keep it clear, you know? And then what she said was, there is a feeling of elegance, expansiveness, and creativity, because I'm a creator, so I've got, you know, art around. There is no clutter or a single thing that is superfluous. And everything has value, right? And its position is right. Okay, well, that's kind of a sensitivity that I have about how things are positioned, okay? Which also can be learned. But her spaces are brilliantly livable, casual, and comfortable, and how she accomplishes this. So yeah, that's what I hope for everybody. And in our time that we're living in, it is just so important to have our homes in order. We're going to be, I think, spending more and more time in our homes. And I wanted to share this with you as I started telling you later, and then we'll probably wrap this up. I was on my site because I'm also a sculptor, and my first show, sculpting show I did in Toronto, I wrote a poem for it. I created these beings called migrators. Apparently I channeled something, these very ancients, they were energy receivers and transmitters, and people came to be with them, and I had these big speakers of what the earth sounds like from outer space, supposedly. I mean, you know, but it was pretty intense. And I tried to have earth there so you could actually smell the earth, but that didn't actually work. I went through several bags of Canadian Tire, and it's really difficult to get the smell of earth in an art exhibition. Anyway, but I wanted to share this with you because these migrators, if you go to my website, I'll leave the link here. These migrators are what it takes to go through life, not just our physical journey, but what it takes to go through and migrate this world. And so this was the poem I wrote, because I also, part of the exhibition was all these pieces that I picked up wandering the streets of Toronto and rediscovering Toronto after I had returned from Spain after 6 years. So remnants of pieces left behind, lived, lost, together, alone. Wild children, you came here to be brave. Let the perfume and the music call you home to a new world. And I think that home is so perfect for this Facebook group. I mean, we are so wild that we are doing this journey on this planet at this time, and that you came here to be brave. We are all incredibly brave for what we are going through, I think. So maybe you'll go and have a look there as well. My website is just ChaCha Chapin, ChaChapin.com. And I also have an Instagram, which is ChaCha Chapin. And if anybody feels like joining, I have a Facebook group called Change Your Home, Change Your Life. And just what I'm talking about, like having your home in a particular way greatly affects your life. So if anybody, I have angel shivers from your poem. Oh, thanks, Sarah. Yeah, so if anybody has any need for my assistance, please reach out. I do one-on-one, virtual or in person if we happen to live close by. Yeah, I would just invite you all to just really look at your surroundings and just examine them and make sure that they are really bringing you that stillness in nature, and supporting an exceptional life. So thank you so much for being here. And if nobody has any questions, then I think I'll just sign off. I guess I just push the live button again and it'll go off. Is that what it said? I've never done live before. Okay, I'll try that. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful day. And remember, you are very brave.